It's been more than 50 years since humans last set foot on the moon. December 14th, 1972, Apollo 17. Astronaut Gene Cernan looked back at Earth one last time before climbing the ladder into the lunar module. He left behind footprints that may last millions of years, and a message of hope that one day, we'd return. Half a century later, that promise is being tested. Because now, NASA's Artemis program is preparing to take humanity back to the moon. And this time the mission is very different. Back in the 1960s, Apollo was fueled by the space race. Politics, prestige, and proving technological dominance. It was about getting there first, planting a flag, and coming home safe. And while Apollo gave us breathtaking moments, it was never designed for permanence. No bases, no refueling stations, no plan to stay. It was a sprint. Artemis is a marathon. In 2022, Artemis 1 launched from Kennedy Space Center. It was an uncrewed mission, but it carried the hopes of the program. The Orion spacecraft, powered by the Space Launch System, the most powerful rocket NASA has ever built, traveled over 1.4 million miles. It orbited the moon, tested its heat shield during re-entry, and proved that we have the hardware to take astronauts farther than they've gone in 50 years. It was, in essence, a dress rehearsal. Now the stage is set for Artemis II. Scheduled for the mid-2020s, it will carry 4 astronauts on a 10-day journey around the moon. They won't land, but they'll test every life support system, every navigation protocol, every human factor. This will be the first time in over half a century that humans leave low Earth orbit. That alone is historic. But the real headline comes with Artemis III. This mission will land astronauts near the moon's south pole, an area never explored by humans. Why the South Pole? Because within its permanently shadowed craters lies something Apollo never found. Water ice. Water is life. Water is air. Water is fuel. If astronauts can extract it, they can drink it, breathe it, and even split it into hydrogen and oxygen to power rockets. Suddenly, the moon transforms from a barren rock into a refueling station for the solar system. Artemis III isn't just a return, it's a new beginning. And it will also mark another first, the first woman and the first person of color to walk on the moon. But Artemis doesn't stop at one landing. The vision is long-term. NASA plans to build an Artemis base camp on the lunar surface, complete with habitats, rovers, and power systems. A place where crews can live and work for weeks at a time. Above the moon, there will be the Lunar Gateway, a small space station in orbit acting as a hub, a science platform, and a staging point for missions deeper into space. In other words, the moon will become a training ground for Mars. Some might ask, why spend billions going back to the moon when we have problems on Earth? Here's the answer. Apollo gave us satellite communications, weather forecasting, medical imaging, computer miniaturization, technology we use every day. Artemis will do the same, pushing advances in energy, robotics, materials, and life support. And beyond technology, there's something deeper. The moon is humanity's next frontier. If we can learn to live sustainably there, we take our first real step toward becoming a multi-planet species. Of course, it won't be easy. Artemis faces budget hurdles, technical delays, political debates, and the sheer danger of space travel. The moon is unforgiving. Temperatures swing hundreds of degrees, radiation is constant, and micrometeorites strike at high speed. But the risks are the price of exploration. And history shows that every great leap forward has faced skepticism. Artemis isn't the finish line, it's the gateway. NASA sees the moon as the proving ground for Mars. If we can mine resources, build habitats, and survive on the lunar surface, then we'll be ready to cross the 140 million mile gulf to the red planet. When Gene Cernan left the moon in 1972, he said, "We leave as we came, and God willing, as we shall return, with peace and hope for all mankind." Now, 50 years later, Artemis carries that hope. The moon is no longer just a symbol of what we once achieved. It's a promise of what we're about to do next. And if Artemis succeeds, our grandchildren may look back at this decade not as the end of the Apollo era, but as the beginning of humanity's journey into the stars.